Saturday the 16th at Hebden Bridge, and I've just turned in this little bit here, avoiding smacking into the idiot who's moored in the bit where you're told not to moor. So I came back last night, Friday night, found a nice little tap room bottle shop called Drink, and had an amazing meal. If you're ever in Hebden Bridge, chapter 17, absolutely blinding restaurant. Let's get some coffee here. And for the main, I had a vegetarian dish. I had the mushroom sort of, I don't know what you call it, flan sort of thing, a little filo case filled with just mush. Oh, it's bloody amazing. Right, so we're setting off. The weather's not with us again. It's a bit cold, a bit drizzly, a bit overcast. Not really raining though. So today we're headed probably for Stanley Ferry. Always feel a little sorry leaving Hebden because I love it here. I could easily see myself living in Hebden Bridge. It's probably a good job I don't, because I'd probably spend all my time in chapter 17. So yeah, been here for a week. We'll be leaving the boat at Stanley Ferry and then coming back next week to move it on. Should get from Stanley Ferry to somewhere near Doncaster in a weekend. I reckon Doncaster. But for today, a nice gentle cruise, and hopefully the two locks that I hate won't be too much of a problem. We're just coming up to lock number 8. That's a bastard. And then we got the guillotine lock at Salter Hebble, which, if you've watched a couple of the previous videos in this series, you will know is a bastard as well. With any luck, with those two hire boats that have just come out of the lock, we should find some of the locks are in our favour. And this is the one, that gate there. We don't like that gate there, so we're going to open the gate on this side when we leave. Well, the lock wasn't quite as bad as we expected. Well, as Charlotte expected. She's managed to get both gates closed. Look at that. Wonderful. Now it's just Salter Hebble we have to worry about. The guillotine lock. Oh, here's interesting. They have at least repainted it. Now this is one they've extended it at the back, but it's still fucking ugly. I don't know why someone would want to live in that. There was a guy a few years ago, probably, I don't know, quite a few years ago, about 6 years ago probably, weird bloke who bought a narrowboat and made it look like a U-boat, you know, submarine. We moored next to him in Clarence Dock, Leeds Dock, and he reminded me a little bit of I can't remember, some fat comedian, Johnny Vegas, that's it. He reminded me of Johnny Vegas, but he weren't funny. Mind you, some would say neither was Johnny Vegas, but you know what I mean. And he had this young girl with him, and it just seemed a little bit weird. And she said, "Oh, I'm just bobbing back to Liverpool because I've got a little job to do." See, that don't look too bad from the back, does it? But it's fucking awful from any other angle. All right, so Yeah, and he was chain smoking himself into an early grave and all that sort of thing. A couple of years later, it transpired that he was into this massive VAT carousel fraud to the extent of, God, I think about £500,000 or something or other, and got busted for it. What was then even stranger was he's popped up in Retford, and he's put this site up against street dwellers, street drinkers, street, you know, spice. I think it's mainly spice heads that he's against, while being a proponent for legalising cannabis. It's a fucking nut job. How on earth he's just popped up in Retford, I've no idea. But he has. And it's just really, really strange and small, occasionally uncomfortable world. But yeah, I'm sure his name will come to me at some point, much though I wish it wouldn't. Quite porous, that, as far as porous goes. Another low pound, very low pound. I almost got grounded again there. So this here is where you find water shortages further up are amplified, because we've got a couple of locks quite close together, and unless water's run down quite a lot, and if this lock here is bigger than that lock there, then it's going to drain more water out of the pound than is put into it, if that makes sense. And as a consequence, over a period of time, the water level decreases. But this is frighteningly low. But a guy there who's just going into, oh crikey, I'm fucking hell, I'm on the bottom again here. Jesus, I can feel it. Yeah, he said this is the worst pound he's come across, and it's much easier further down. But I don't know if you can tell, I'm actually touching both sides here. I can feel it. Oh, this is bad, CRT, bad. It looks like they've knocked half of this down at some point, judging by that's a lovely building now. Judging by the strength of those buttresses. There's probably an important road at the top. I do really love these old industrial buildings. If you haven't worked that out, I thought I'd just clarify that. And here, I think the remains of what was probably once a huge chimney. Might be wrong, but what a beautiful building, colossal building. We're coming up to Tuel, the lock that was probably in the last video. I don't know, might not have been in the last video, can't remember. Probably was in the last video. The deepest inland lock. Wow, look at this. They've started introducing these little certificates. And as I was coming in, he asked me if I've had a certificate, and I thought he was taking the, you know, but no, what a nice little idea. I'm sure people cherish those little souvenirs of their boating holiday. Oh, I'm glad to see our license fee is spent on. No, I'm not. I don't want to run it down. I don't want to make light of it. I think it is quite a nice little gesture, actually. Probably won't cost CRT a huge amount of money. It would be nice if they showed a little bit more interest in boaters, though. But you know, such is. So yeah, Tuel Lock, the deepest inland lock. I still think Lemonroyd's deeper, but I might obviously I'm wrong on that score. And there we go, leaving Tuel, the deepest inland lock. Actually, you know what, those lockies weren't quite as bad as I thought they were going to be. I thought he was taking the piss when he asked me if I'd had a certificate. I got my elementary swimming certificate. Does that matter? Does that count even? I suppose if you fall in, I can doggy paddle to the edge. Another bendy tunnel, by the way. So that's Tuel locked on. The only worry now is going to be Salter Hebble, the bastard guillotine locks. Guillotine lock. But I'm not sure we'll... I don't know, are we going to do that today? Yeah, we will. If we're headed for Stanley Ferry, shit, we will. I don't know. As you know, I don't know, ever. I don't ever know where we are. Ready to slide gently and effortlessly into next lock. I'm ready for some lunch. Lock number 2, which means that over there is lock number 1. And so for us today, and it's our last lock that we're going to be doing on the Rochdale Canal. After this we're on the Calder and Hebble navigation again. So that's 16 locks, is it, we've done? 8 there and 8 back, yeah. I do like the Rochdale Canal. There you are, Christopher, Mr. Harrison Hawks. We have marked another last lock of the Rochdale. A little stop for lunch. We are now, this is where you turn off down there, goes to the end of the Calder and Hebble, and this is now the last little bit of the Rochdale. So Rochdale and now Calder Hebble, and down there is where you got Shire Cruisers base, and there won't be many there at the moment because we've met them all going the other way with all the stag parties. So there we are no longer on Rochdale, which is a shame because I do like the Rochdale Canal. Well, I like Hebden Bridge. You're forced to. Well, hopefully the GoPro will have captured on the time lapse my excellent bit of manoeuvring there, because while I was setting the camera up I drifted over there, so I had to back up and then spin and all that sort of stuff, you know, all that sort of boatman stuff, the stuff that makes you look like you know what you're doing. But there you go, I've managed to slide gracefully into here. I'm going to jump off, close this lock gate. This is one of those locks that uses the pickaxe handle, or as you're supposed to call it, hand spike. You push it when, you know, and then at the other end we got standard windlass. We have actually been up the Halifax Arm once before, just to tick it off and to say that we've done it. It weren't very impressive. In fact, it was a bit of a muddy ditch. Middle lock done, and now our favourite lock. It's not, I fucking hate it. The Guillotino lock at Salter Hebble. Salter Hebble bottom lock. These look a strange set of moorings, aren't they? Actually, there might be some sort of facility there, but no, not much. Hey, we like that sort of artwork, boys and girls. Right, is this guillotine a lock going to work for us today? That is the question. Moment of truth. Is the lock going to work? We'll see in a minute. If that gate closes, it means water is leaving. Oh, oh look. Oh. That's a good sign. So now we should be going down. Ground floor haberdashery. It's not the quickest of emptying locks, is this? Remarkably, the guillotine lock has worked. Believe me, nobody is more surprised than I. taking, I don't know, it's 45 minutes or an hour to get through here. Coming up, it was starting to get dark, which is why we had to emergency moor really at the top of the let's not bump into that, Martin. And more at the top of the now dodge the drippy bits at the top block there by the sewage works. Whew. Well, I need to just gently force around this corner here. And there's a boat coming up, perfect. We are running a little behind time. We've got another 6 locks to go and it's 4:20. So getting to Brighouse might be an interesting one, as Charlotte's got to cycle back to Hebden Bridge to get the car. Now for some reason, which is a little bit unclear, the landing stage here is out of commission. There's absolutely no reason I can see why it should be. So they've put this little temporary landing stage over there where it's really shallow and you can't get into. Doesn't matter anyway, as Charlotte is going to walk around the diversion because this whole bit of towpath is closed off. She's walking around the diversion so she knows how to cycle back. No mill, no more. Wow. That is strange. 'Twas a biggie building, and I've often wondered, you know, when buildings do have a preservation order on them, there are a number of ways you can allow them to fall into rack and ruin. And when they become dangerous, a blind eye is turn head. That's the end of the towpath shuttage. So somewhere up here. Well, would you look at that? Not so much of a detour after all. In fact, probably just as quick as going along the towpath. That's good. I'm not convinced. Really not convinced that's open. Really should be loads of people sat outside. Look at this beautiful evening that we have here. Saturday evening in Elland, and no one sat there having a drink. To me that says the boozer is shut. What a great shame. I keep remembering why I like Elland so much, and that's because of the day I spent being given a tour by a couple of youngsters, 13, 14-ish I suppose, and I keep returning to the fact that in that whole probably 4 or 5 maybe longer hours, they didn't swear, didn't smoke, didn't do anything obnoxious. They were perfectly well-mannered examples of what I think young people actually are. which is nice. I don't think young people are bad, I think they're bored. Anyway, and again, Saturday, the Collier's Arms, deserted. I can only guess it's no longer the Collier's Arms. Oh, isn't that sad? Oh, that seating there, that's terrible. Really, just such a shame. We have decided, what's the time now? 20 past 5. The reality is it's going to be dark by the time we moor up, or getting dark by the time we moor up. Those are big steps, aren't they? So Charlotte is going to go back to Hebden Bridge by train to get car. It's turned out to be a pretty lovely day, isn't it? Oh, well, we haven't really made as good a time as we hoped. It's 6 o'clock, just gone 6 o'clock. We've still got one more lock to go, so it's a good job really that there's a railway station that has a train that will go back to Hebden Bridge, because cycling in the dark on a towpath, fuck it, no way. I think I'd have just chucked her in a taxi or something. So yeah, here we go, Brighouse. Oh, Brighouse again. One more lock. Oh, well, 6:30. Flipping heck, it's cold. It's cold. It's cold, cold, cold. Core, blimey, it's cold, gov. Oh, I still can't believe that's a massive climbing wall. I think that is superb. Look at that. Would you take a top rope? Cool. Right, Brighouse anyway. Oh, what a day. It seems like it's been a long one. It's probably because it's been a long one. I think that's that bar. It is that bar, I'm sure that's that bar. It is. It's got the actual bar itself is made from the slate of a snooker table. Didn't look like there was loads of people in there. I wonder whether we can squeeze an hour or so later to go and explore it again. Once I've thawed out and Charlotte's been to collect the car in Hebden Bridge. That's rather jolly, isn't it? Not right, a lot of people sat outside. There's a few there though. That is just, oh, what a challenge. I'll come down, bang out a couple of E6s, no problem. Crumbs, bloody gold. Gonna moor up now.